Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to Great Reviews. Today I checked out Black Phone 2. It just hit streaming. I wasn't the biggest fan of the original film. I thought it was alright, and I thought the thing that I liked about it is that it had like this weirdly positive message, which isn't something you always get from horror movies. A lot of times nowadays everything kind of wants to end on a dour note, and that movie had like this kind of anti-bullying, self-confidence kind of message to it that was interesting and I kind of appreciated. But that movie, I don't know, I had some issues with it, but that being said, I enjoyed it enough and was kind of looking forward to the sequel. But this sequel, I thought was very, very bad. Oh, fuck. There is just so many things that I need to say about this film that I don't even know where to start. But my first part, I guess I'll be upfront about, is I'm probably going to be a lot more critical about this film than I would be if this was like a low budget movie, because at this point, when you have millions of dollars and you have Ethan Hawke, who is such a talented actor, and you can't pull off something at least decent, I don't know what you guys are doing. This is a mess of a movie. The writing here, I think, is just atrociously bad. Everything is so convenient of how all the characters are intertwined and how their relationship with the grabber becomes intertwined. It's such a convenient mess that you just roll your eyes and you're like, ah, God, why? Not every little story beat has to tie back into the first film. And ultimately, by the end, it just felt so silly. And in some level, I'm okay with like a kind of convoluted backstory of how supernatural things occur, meaning like, and this is maybe slight spoilers of like how the grabber is in the second film and where he draws his power from, and that he's from hell, and but like, that stuff is dumb, but I can let it go if the overall story is satisfying, but those elements were dumb and the overall story was pretty dumb, so it just made it even worse. I think it's just like compacting on top of each other. And I can feel in this film, because Scott Derrickson, director, also directed Sinister and the original Black Phone. But I can feel them trying to get back to like the Sinister roots. They have these dream sequences which are very much filmed in the style of the found footage in Sinister, where it has the very off-putting kind of music and the grainy footage and flashes of violence and stuff like that. In this though, I felt nothing. While in Sinister, they were highly effective. In this film, they weren't at all. Nothing in this movie was remotely scary. And beyond that, like, it's very much harping or inspired by like A Nightmare on Elm Street mixed with Sinister, but bringing in all this weird lore from Black Phone, which in theory could be interesting, but what we get is just this weird hodgepodge mess that doesn't feel cohesive in any way. And worst of all, for the majority of the film, I thought, well, there doesn't seem to be an actual threat to anyone beyond the lead woman or the lead girl. That doesn't end up being the case, but also the violence that occurs doesn't end up being life-threatening, and all the characters kind of make it through pretty much unscathed, even though it looks like at times the violence would be life-threatening. I don't know. And there was, flashes in that footage of gore. There's a sequence where somebody gets their head like cut in half, and I'm not even sure. Thinking back at now, I don't even know how that didn't really happen, because it wasn't one of the victims. I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know why that's in the movie. It was kind of cool. It was probably like the most fun gore sequence in the film, but I don't think it actually made any sense. And I mentioned earlier, like, this movie has Ethan Hawke. If you can't get Ethan Hawke to say lines that sell or have him come off with his natural charisma in a way, then you are failing in some level. Him ice skating around as an invisible ghost man, stabbing people and stuff, it's just so ridiculous and silly and over the top. Matched against some awful CGI. And I'm being nitpicky, I guess, but it felt like every scene in this movie was on a set, a sound stage. And because of that, it just never felt natural. Everything felt like a set. Flashbacks that reveal things to our lead characters are so silly. At one point, the grabber like kidnaps, again, slight spoiler, their mom in the past, and when he does, he has all these balloons in the middle of the night. It's just like, why is that in the movie? Is it because in the grabber in the original film, at one point lured kids over as trying to be like this clown-like thing with this? I don't even know why it's in the movie. It's just dumb. It was like, I saw it, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? Why? What? The thing about the original Black Phone was always the phone call, the lines of dialogue, and in that movie I felt like they were kind of cheesy, and in this movie I feel like they're 10 times cheesier. I wish I could say what worked for me in this movie, and maybe I think the actors are really trying to pull stuff from this material, but I just think the material is so poorly written that, man, nothing comes through as sincere. And the lead girl has so much snark in this movie and is so aggressive to some characters that, again, it feels forced. Everything in this movie feels forced, from the lore to the storyline to the set and visuals. It just all feels so forced and so unnatural and so insincere. I really did not enjoy this movie, and I was bored because it's extremely long for what they're doing here. The dad-daughter-son relationship, it's so dumb. I despise this movie. It was bad, guys. Maybe it's just me that this really didn't work for me, but you guys, leave it in the comments. Let me know if you saw Black Phone 2, what you thought, what were your expectations? I thought my expectations were low entering into this film because I wasn't the biggest fan of the first one, but yeah, it didn't reach them for me either. And yeah, there's no excuses when you have a budget and you have extremely talented actors why you make such a bad movie like this. So that's my thoughts on Black Phone 2. If I upset you because you're a big Black Phone 2 fan, I'm sorry. You can leave your criticism in the comments. Otherwise, let me know if there's anything I should be watching, and I'll catch you here next time, guys. Goodbye.